Hi guys, welcome back to Broke Not Broken. Today is the first day of the Three Rivers Challenge, and I'm going to show you what I made and explain how I made it. Now this is a 2-ingredient dump and go recipe. This is pork chops with the Victoria sauce on top. I'll cook it down for about 4 hours. We're adding to this meal, you can see that that's canned potatoes and canned beans because we have abundance. We've also made rhubarb crisp using the canned rhubarb jam in place of apples. It's just 1 cup flour, 1 cup brown sugar, 1 cup rolled oats. I used vanilla and, well, a teaspoon of vanilla and a teaspoon of cinnamon, and then 1/2 pint of the rhubarb jam. Alright guys, I'm back out into the pantry / mudroom. Reason being is my kids want to play, so I'm going to let them play while I do this video. Now a lot of people have asked me what triggered the reason I wanted to be self-sufficient. Well, the trigger was, and this is going to be a story time, my husband, years ago when Dalton, my middle child, was a baby, was working up in Elliott Lake, and that's pretty far from where I live, and he was up there for about a week, and it was winter. And what happened was, I had woken up, started a coffee maker ran, power went out. We got a horrific storm, and that storm boxed me in for the better part of 2 days. Now during that storm, we had no power, which means I had no heat. I would say he was between 1 year and 18 months at the time. So I called my ex-husband and told him not to bring my oldest son home because there was no way he was getting here. I couldn't even open the doors to my house to get outside. And all I could think of was, my pipes are going to freeze. I have a propane furnace. It doesn't blow if I have no hydro. So I was running around the house collecting terracotta pots, and at the time I was making candles to sell at the market. And I had cases and cases of candles in the house, and I was shoving them under terracotta pots with, in muffin trays and, conductors, in order to heat my home and keep my pipes from freezing. Now this continued for about 2 days. And all I could think of was, I can't get out, I can't drive my car. I was charging my phone because people were calling me on my phone jack in my car. My car was, between half a tank and 1/4 of a tank of gas. I can't get to the gas station. We have no jerry cans to refill my car. That was the first thing I checked. And I kept thinking, this is going to get really bad if the hydro doesn't come back on. Now, I have lived in places where, you don't have hydro for a few days, but there was always a backup. There was a generator or a fireplace in the home. I don't have either of those at this point. I still don't have a fireplace yet. We still haven't figured out where to put one because my house is so tiny and, restraints with furniture and doors and stuff like that. But at the time, I remember thinking, if I hadn't have been home, everything would have blown. And, I was lucky at the time that one of the neighbors had a tractor, and he plowed, the back end of my car out and my driveway and the road going to my house out, so at least emergency vehicles could get in. But there was no way I was moving that much snow by myself. I didn't have the means. I only had a shovel at the time, and I had a baby who I could not leave in the home because I had to, shut doors in the house in order to keep the heat in the middle of my house, which is my living room and my kitchen, and leave the bathroom door open just a little bit with candles lit in there and every tap on just a little bit so that the taps wouldn't freeze and blow. That's how I stopped my house from freezing. If I hadn't been home, everything would have blown up. Now, I'm not saying that a fireplace or a generator would be the best bet if you're not home. But in my case, I gave up my career. I am a stay-at-home mom full time. And at the time, this was terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I was outside cooking on the barbecue just so that him and I had something warm to eat. We pulled out the pullout. I pulled sleeping bags out, winterized sleeping bags, all kinds of stuff, built a fort so we could stay warm for the time being. That's what drove me to more so to self-sufficiency and more so to homesteading, because I have control, or a little bit more control. Now, has the power gone out since then? Absolutely has. Do I have other sources to heat my house? Absolutely I do. But at the time, I mean, this is, you know, terrifying for, you know, any parent with young children. And I was just not having it anymore. So now I have, you know, backups for different things, backup lighting, backup everything, in order to make sure that doesn't happen, because I live rurally. And because I live rurally, we don't necessarily get our power turned on as quickly as you would expect. So there's that. But that's my little story, because somebody asked me how, you know, and why I started doing some of the things I started doing. And that's why I started, you know, growing my own food, because I might not be able to get to a store. Or I started doing or collecting different things that if I lost power, I had a cooking source that I could use inside, or I have a heat source that I can use inside. So thank you guys for watching my small story time, and please like and subscribe. Thank you.